All right, let's talk about something that can go from pure panic to a moment where you feel totally in control. We're going to walk through exactly how to change a car tire. Not just how to do it, but how to do it safely and with confidence.
Oh yeah, you know the feeling I'm talking about, right? That dreaded thump, thump, thump. That sound that just sinks your stomach because you know your day just took a sharp left turn.
Yep, the flat tire. It happens to the best of us, and man, it always seems to happen at the worst possible moment. But here's the thing, it really doesn't have to be a day ruiner, not if you're prepared. So here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with that deflating feeling, then talk about gathering your gear, why safety is not optional, walk through the actual procedure, and wrap up with how to finish the job right. Okay, let's dive right in. First things first, gather your gear. You know, they say preparation is the first step to success, and that is absolutely true here. Just knowing you have the right tools on hand can completely change your mindset. So here's your essential toolkit, the stuff you absolutely need. We're talking a jack stands, a lug wrench, obviously your spare tire, some wheel chocks, and trust me, you'll want some gloves and safety gear. Having this stuff ready to go turns a potential disaster into, just a task. And there's one more really crucial tool we're going to talk about in just a sec. And that special tool is the torque wrench. So what is this thing? It's not just some fancy wrench you see in a garage. Its whole job is to apply a very specific amount of rotational force, or torque. And this is so important. Why? Because if you tighten the lug nuts too much, you can actually damage the wheel. Too little and, well, the wheel could come loose while you're driving. Not good. This tool is what guarantees your wheel is on there exactly how the manufacturer says it should be for safety.
All right, now we're getting to what is, without a doubt, the most important part of this whole process. Safety is not optional, and I really need you to hear this. These aren't suggestions. They're not nice-to-haves. They are hard and fast rules.
If you remember only one thing from this, let it be this. Never, ever work under a car that is only being held up by a jack. I'm going to say that again. Never work under a car supported only by a jack. Why? Because jacks can fail. They're for lifting, not holding. For a simple tire change, the rule is easy. No part of your body goes under the car, ever. End of story. So before you even think about touching a lug nut, you've got to run through this safety checklist. Step 1, find a flat, stable spot to work and get as far away from traffic as possible. Step 2, parking brake on, car in park. Easy. Step 3, grab your wheel chocks and wedge them on the tire that's diagonally opposite the one you're changing. That stops the car from rolling. And finally, step 4, you got to find the right place to put the jack. Your car's manual will show you exactly where these reinforced points are on the frame. Okay, safety is locked in. Now we're ready for the main event, the tire change procedure. Don't worry, we're going to break this down step by step. It's totally manageable. So, phase 1 is all about loosen, lift, and remove. And here's a huge tip, a real game changer. You want to loosen the lug nuts before you lift the car. Just a little bit, maybe a quarter turn. So why do that? Simple. The weight of the car on the ground stops the wheel from spinning while you're trying to break those nuts loose. Smart, right? Once they're loose, then you position the jack, lift the car just enough for the tire to clear the ground, and then you can spin those lug nuts right off and pull the flat tire away. Now before you rush to put the new one on, just take a second. With the wheel off, do a quick little inspection. Just look at the hub, the bolts sticking out, those are called studs, and the brakes. You're not doing a full diagnosis, just a quick once-over to see if anything looks obviously broken or weird. All right, on to phase 2, mount, lower, and tighten. So go ahead and line up the spare tire and slide it onto the wheel studs. Now put the lug nuts back on and just tighten them by hand for now. And this is key. Tighten them in a star pattern. Go from one to the one across from it, then another, then the one across from that. This makes sure the wheel sits on there nice and flush. Once they're all snug by hand, you can slowly and carefully lower the car back down. We are so close. We're at the home stretch now. Let's talk about finishing the job right. Because these are the little details that make all the difference, the things that take this from just a quick fix to a job you can feel confident about. And this brings us right back to that special tool, the torque wrench. Look, just tightening by hand as hard as you can, that's just guessing. It leads to uneven pressure, it can damage things, and honestly, it's just not safe. The torque wrench, on the other hand, is all about precision. It protects your car, and most importantly, it makes sure that wheel is on to the exact safety standard. So you might hear a number like, say, 100 foot-pounds. That's a pretty common spec. But, and this is a big but, that's just an example.
Every single car is different. You have to check your owner's manual to find the exact number for your vehicle. No guessing.
Okay, so the car is back on the ground, all its weight on the wheel. Now you grab your torque wrench, set it to the number from your manual, and tighten those nuts in that same star pattern. You'll literally hear and feel a solid click when you've hit the right torque. It's super satisfying. Oh, and one last thing. Don't forget to check the air pressure in the spare. A flat spare is, well, it's not much help, is it?
And here is one last bit of pro-level advice that a lot of people skip, but you shouldn't. It's called re-torquing. After you've driven for a bit, say 25, maybe 50 miles, you need to pull over and check those lug nuts again with a torque wrench. Things can kind of settle and shift a tiny bit as you drive, so this one final check just makes absolutely sure everything is locked in and secure.
And that's it. You did it. You went from being prepared to being safe to getting the job done. You just turned a major headache into a problem you could solve yourself. So the next time you hear that thump, are you ready? Yeah, I think you are.